Happy new vlog. It is an absolutely beautiful day. It is probably the warmest day this summer so far, or it's going to be. And because this always seems to coincide with super hot days, myself and Steve are continuing our Thames Path walk. We are resuming in Maidenhead, and we're walking at least as far as Marlow, past Cliveden, which I may have shown you before, which is a beautiful National Trust property. So please come along and enjoy the view.
Welcome to another episode of Toby Stupid Vlog.
So just to recap, Steve started this walk at God knows where, a long way down the Thames towards the Thames estuary. I kind of joined him at Kew, but I've done the bit from Vauxhall to Kew before anyway. So we've got as far as Maidenhead. In theory, you can go most of the way along the Thames back to the source, certainly well into Oxfordshire, well beyond where we are up to. In practice, it becomes more and more difficult because actually getting there becomes the challenge, and it becomes a bit pricey. Before we were on the route of South West trains, which gets particularly expensive. We're now onto the first Great Western line that runs to Bristol. So bizarrely, it now gets cheaper again, at least for a bit. But then it becomes, when you spend an hour getting to the start point, as I am today, it becomes a case of requiring a little bit more planning. So it's, we're going to see how far we can get. We do about 2 or 3 stages a year. In 3 years' time, this could be very challenging. I'm not worrying about that now. Welcome to sunny Maidenhead, where the buildings have fallen down, and there is a man with a parasol on a boat. It's lovely. Here is the River Thames. You have seen it a lot. That on the other side there is the Cliveden estate. You can't really see it because it's up on a hill and there's a lot of trees, but there is a house up there. You might, around the corner here, see they have some big obelisks in the garden. You might be able to see one of them poking out. And there's also a boathouse somewhere along here, because it's also a hotel. It's a very, very expensive hotel, the kind of hotel that has its own boathouse, which is very nice. It also has a spa, and it's famous for the Profumo affair, which you can Google, but it's basically about politicians and hookers, so you can do the maths. That is the Cliveden boathouse, high glamour indeed, and this is the launch point where you can get your yacht, presumably, and go to regatta at Henley or whatever you. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'd live in that boathouse happily as a recluse. Here we are in Cookham, Thames Path. Where's that pointing, Steve? It's pointing down here. Or is it? Or is it pointing down there?
I can't tell.
I'm going to look at a map. So we finally left Cookham on the 2nd of Thames. We accidentally went to Buckinghamshire. We're now safely on the southern side again. We will enter Buckinghamshire later on. It's a really nice little stretch of the Thames, this. Very wide, a lot of boats, yachts I should say. And houses that are big enough, to keep like half of southeast England in. Welcome to Cogmarsh. It has cows in the river. River cows. Native river cows. I don't think I've ever seen cows in the river, but I guess, why not? This is where we got to. This is Marlow? I almost forgot. I'm short of liquids, and it shows. This is Marlow, and we are very close to the station, and in need of some sort of liquid refreshment. It's ever such a nice strip of river, that, but it is really warm today, really, really warm. Well, I'm back in Kew. The walk was lovely, getting back was more challenging. For a start, Marlow station has 1 service an hour, which we missed by 5 minutes. So then we explored the wonders that is Marlow, drank a lot of fluids, I'd lay in a park, and then we got back on the world's smallest train, on the world's most infrequently used track, and eventually made it to Maidenhead, where Steve had to go buy a ticket because he hadn't bought a return, and then run back to get the train. And then I got to Ealing Broadway, where there was no buses. I had to wait about 20 minutes for a 65. They're usually about every 5 minutes. And then when I got on the bus, it has crawled all the way back to Kew. So it's an hour since I left, since I got to Ealing Broadway. I could have actually walked here in about the same time. My feet actually hurt, which is surprising because it wasn't that far, but it's been a while since I've walked properly, and I don't think I'm used to these shoes at the moment, but there we go. Very nice walk nonetheless. This is what Sunday's all about as an adult. Slightly disappointing trips to home base. Good evening. So after our home base trip this morning, we bought some stuff to paint the bath panel that was fitted last week, and got to reattach a few tiles, so I got some grouting and all that kind of nonsense. So I might be able to do some of that later this week, because I'm only at USP Monday, Tuesday at the moment. And yeah, it's much... DIY always takes so much longer than you think. And because we're reattaching old tiles, I had to chip off all the old grouting off those, which I thought would be a 10-minute job, but it took an hour. Oh, I know. Anyway, so that will progress throughout this week, hopefully. Get a bit further along. And right now, yeah, I'm just nipping out because Crystal's been cooking in bulk, so she made a big chilli yesterday, which was awesome when we got back from the walk, and made a big bolognese today, which we're going to have on Tuesday. And we're also marinating some pork because we're going to have jerk pork later on. So it's been a cookathon for the last 48 hours. Not from me, I've done very little except go on a walk yesterday, which turns out actually, incidentally, I was like, oh, it's 7-8 miles. It wasn't, it was over 10 as it turned out. Still not really an excuse for how poor I felt afterwards, but there we go. We have had pretty much all weather within the last 5 or 6 hours. It's now really lovely, but earlier it was absolutely terrible. In fact, just after we nipped out to get a home base, typical. But it wasn't quite terrible enough, early enough, to save England from losing the cricket. Nonetheless, they still won the Ashes, so, you know, small consolation for the Australians there. Hamilton won the Grand Prix in Spa just before it was supposed to rain, so that was lucky for him. And Bolt won the 100 metres at Beijing World Athletics Championships, which is rather good, because the only other man that would have won it is a man who was cheated on at least 2 occasions. Kew update, you can see a week on or so that they still haven't put the house back together. So that's annoying. The tubes are on strike today, so the station isn't very busy. Are you doing some cooking, Walsey?
I'm going to spatula.
That's the spatula, yes.
Yes.
You're gonna
Cook one that's big pan.
in the big pan. Yes, we cook mushrooms in the big pan. What are you cooking in your pan? That's a cow.
That's Uncle Toby pan.
That's my pan, is it?
I want Uncle Toby pan.
Oh, okay. So that was Alex and Anna's new old house. The extension's been finished, and I was just round there lending a hand because obviously moving back in is somewhat of a chore. So I was there as distractionary measure, so Walter couldn't get too carried away. So that's what I was doing yesterday. Today I'm off to Vauxhall just to have a catch up, really, ahead of some filming in Newport, which happens a week on Monday. Very similar to what happened last year at this time. And I've actually got to do some DIY as well, but I'm making the most of the outside at the moment. You can read into that procrastinating if you wish. Nonetheless, yeah, that still needs doing before the weekend, really, because on Saturday we're back. Well, I'm back round at Alex and Anna's to give them a bit more of a hand, because this is a slow process, moving things in the garden and all sorts. It does occur to me that, with the exception obviously of the walk I did with Steve on the weekend, I haven't really gone down the towpath an awful lot, especially not this bit anyway. So haven't been down here since the bike race a couple of weeks ago, and certainly haven't walked any distance, so it's nice to see it again, even if this is the excuse that they call summer. My memories of walking down here previous Augusts involve blistering heat. I'm very glad of being in the shade and what have you. But this August has been very strange, slightly tropical, warm but very, very wet. And it poured this morning. And yesterday there was enormous rainstorm. And tomorrow's going to be nice though, so that's promising. It means I can go and film some more bits in the gardens for Q Facts. It means I can get outside as well, because I've been obviously indoors in studios for a lot of the past couple of weeks. Oh, I upset a squirrel. It's not a good way to start the day. Today is also National Burger Day, so I will try and make the most of that at some point this lunchtime. Good morning. I'm just in Kew filming some more Q Facts. Well, I was. I've shot one and then my battery died, so now I've got to go home. Stupid aftermarket Canon batteries. Never mind. It is actually clouding over. I got the best of it. I got the blue bits, which is what I wanted. This afternoon it might not be quite so great. My brilliant plan to film 3 again was obviously highly flawed. We'll just have to shoot when we have nice weather. I need to really get another 2 in the bag before we go to 3 choirs, so I need to think about when that might happen, because this weekend I'm editing and next week I don't really know what's happening. Hello there, it's me from the future. Yes, as I said, the weekend, bank holiday weekend, does involve a lot of editing, and then we get back to normal after that. Next week is broadly normal. Hopefully some more Q videos will go up, and then we head off to the vineyard on Friday, although we won't actually get there till Saturday. But I hope you'll join me for that. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please subscribe, which is very simple. Click the red button. It's as easy as that. And I hope you'll check out my Q Facts series as well, which is at qfacts.co.uk. Thanks for watching.